Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am Ashley. I'm a homeschooling mom, and I have 7 kiddos ranging from 11 to 4 months. So on this channel, I like to do homeschool curriculum things. I like to do mom things. I like to do videos on large families and travel, which is what I'm going to do today. So I have a video that I've made already talking about some road trip essentials, things that we kind of can't live without when we go on road trips. So we try and go as much as we can. This year's been a little bit crazy, so we haven't gone like we usually do. But I know it's time for people to start thinking about, summer vacation or spring break vacation or whatnot. And so I wanted to I don't have any props or I don't have any things to physically show you, but I will try and link what I mention. I know one thing that I wanted to link that I got off Amazon that I will be mentioning in this video. So when we travel, we do road trips only. So we have our NV passenger van. You can go to my channel for and watch the video on the tour of that in case you're in the market for a large vehicle. And we have 7 kids, like I said, and so we have a lot to bring, and I am not a light packer. I do the packing for all the kids. I get all the kids' stuff ready. My husband's responsible for himself. I do not pack his clothes, but I pack everybody else's. And so I'm just going to kind of go over my process on how I get ready for road trips. So I try and get clothes ready as early as I can, but the earlier the better. Typically, we need all the clothes. We usually go for at least a week, if not 2 weeks, depending on my husband's vacation. Needless to say, I try and wash clothes and get as many things clean and ready to pack as I can as early as I can. Now, because we use all these clothes typically, it's hard to do, but my first thing that I get together is my binder, and I do this pretty much when I start planning. I will have a paper that I write down ideas on, that of places to go, narrow down where we want to go. Most of the time it's Colorado. Last summer we did Colorado and Wyoming. So that took a little bit more planning. But my binder is what I bring on the trip. And I think I mentioned this in my other video, but basically I have dividers and I divide everything up. So I have a section for hotel information. I print that out as soon as I book a hotel. I print it out. I print out the itinerary once I figure that out, once I narrow that down and I figure out what we're doing on what days, budget, any kind of tickets that we need. And then I have my lists of all the items that we'll need that I can check off when I pack them. So the hotel information, I will print out everything. I will print out the reservation. So I make sure that I have it in case there's any question, and I can make sure that I have the address right there to know where we're going, where exactly we're going each day. I have that printed out. The itinerary, once I narrow down where we're going and what all I want us to do there, I will pick the days a lot of times based on the weather. If it is close enough out and not too far out, I can look at the weather and determine what we're doing on what day. Are we hiking this day? Are we doing something indoors this day? What restaurants do we want to go to and what days should we plan on doing that? Is it raining this day? Is it, that kind of thing. So I will do that a lot based on the weather, which a lot of times you don't know that until closer to time, but at least I have a general idea. And pretty much anything where I do my little brain dump, my vacation brain dump, I will put those, write that down and keep that in the binder just to have. So everything goes in this binder for the time being. The second I start planning anything, it goes in the binder. Budget. So, what are you budgeting for gas? And I will figure out mileage as best I can. Based on the current gas prices, I will see how far from here to here. I will pretty much narrow down the mileage very, very close, with some wiggle room, but as best that I can, I will I will do the mileage and figure out how much we will need, and always anticipate a little bit more whenever you are planning. Anticipate a little bit more for gas money, anticipate a little bit more for restaurant, for eating out if you're doing that. Now, the last time that we went, this was kind of when COVID was just happening, just kind of started within the past few months of when we traveled. So we did not go into any restaurants. We ordered takeout, and we either ate in the hotel, or we ate on the road, or we ate outside, or we brought our own food and ate. So we didn't really have to worry about any kind of dinner reservations or anything like that, but keep that in mind if you are going to do that. Budgeting for any kind of souvenirs, budgeting for your tickets if you haven't already prepaid for that, even things like national parks you will need a ticket for. So that is something, like I said, we tend to go to the mountains when we travel. We have not always done that. We have done the beach a few times, but for the most part, in Disney and things like that, but for the most part, we prefer the mountains. So that's kind of where we don't spend a whole lot of money on tickets, whether, if we're doing Colorado, but the park, tickets, you obviously have to have admission for it as well. So things like that. So I will print everything out. And if I haven't printed it out, if I haven't bought it yet, I will write it down so that I have everything written down that either I will need and I can check it off as I go, or if I've already purchased it, I will print out the receipt and make sure that I have proof of that purchase. Okay, as far as clothes go, so this is what I have to do when as we get closer to time. So, because all of what we wear, especially in a colder state, we are in Texas, and so pretty much the weather is, besides January and February, it's pretty much the same all year round. And so when you go to places like, I'm using Colorado as an example, but that's just because that's where we go quite a bit. But the weather is going to determine what you do and what clothes you wear and what you bring. So we like to go in the summer because we can do more things. We can do more hiking. We can be outside more. But a couple years ago when we went in the summer, it was cold. It was snowing. And so we had to prepare for that. It was different. It was very different. And in Texas, we're not used to that. We don't have all the proper clothing for that. So it was a different kind of trip. Let me just say that. But once you know what the weather is going to be like, I print this out or write it out and say, okay, we're going to be here Monday through Friday. Let's just say, for example, Monday, what's the temperature supposed to be, or the range, the highs, the lows of every day that we're going to be there, wherever city we are going to be at. And I base the clothes off that. Now I also pack a lot of extras. That is why I am an overpacker, because there's always going to be someone that leaks in their diaper. There's always going to be somebody that falls and slips in mud, or falls and slips and it's just spills food on their clothes. It never fails. There's always something. So I always bring extras. But this is just the first outfit of the day that I make sure that I write on there. So when I find out the weather, I will determine, do we need short sleeves and shorts? Do we need leggings and shorts? Do we need, long sleeve, long pants? Whatever the case may be. And I will pick it out, and now this is where I have changed the last year. So previously I would take Ziploc bags, and don't worry guys, I will recycle these when I'm done. I do not just throw them away. I have Ziploc bags with the kids, like the days, the kid's name, and then the day. So I could tell my husband, okay, go get Justin's Monday bag, or Justin, go get your Monday bag. Addison, go get your Tuesday bag, whatever. And they know exactly, there's no question on what they're wearing. And so that is how I was doing it before. This past year, this is what I'm going to link if I can. I did the packing cubes. So the packing cubes helped a lot. I had a set for each child. Now the little kids I kind of combined, and I put the clothes together. But I was able to put everything in these packing cubes, and they fit in the suitcases a lot better. So that is what I'm going to do from here on out, is the packing cubes. I will have it listed out on a paper, the outfit they're going to wear each day. So in case there's a mix up, and especially now that I'm not using the Ziploc bags and I'm just putting them straight into the packing cubes, they can pick out their correct pair of pants, their correct shirt, they can pick out their outfit, and there's no question in the morning. It saves so much time. So I make sure that I have their clothes labeled as far as what they are wearing each day. And I write that and I stick that in my binder. I make sure that I make a list also that I can have everything written down for what I need. And I will start this a while before. And actually I kind of have a master list, but each year it changes because each year it seems like I have another child, which I kind of do. And so I will alter that list. So, the child that needed bottles this year or last year will not need it this year, but I might have another child that needs bottles this year. So basically I have a list that I will start altering or changing how I need to, adjusting my main list based on each child. And now I can group the girls together and say, okay, I need hair twisties. Make sure I have a bunch of hair twisties. Make sure I have a bunch of hair bows. Make sure I have the brush for the boys. Make sure I have the gel. I can group things like that, toiletries and stuff like that together. But I have a list for all the toiletries that I need, any kind of medication that I need. And I will also have a separate list for food. So basically, I write everything down and I check it off. And if I am in the car and I remember something that I need, I will write it in my phone, and then I will type it in my phone, and then I will put it on my list when I get home. Just because you do not want to be leaving the morning of a road trip and realize once you've left that you forgot baby formula, something like that. I mean, it's just, granted, you can get a lot of these things at the store, but for me, it's easier to make sure that I have it. So making a list of everything that I need, packing in cubes, but by child. So having the list, knowing what they're wearing each day based on the weather, but also know that that might change. So bring an extra sweater, bring an extra jacket, make sure that you have extras. I can't tell you how many times my kids have run out of socks on the trip, in all honesty. Have extra socks, have extra socks, have extra shirts, have extra pants. I mean, I just bring a couple extra of everything. I do have a couple kids that can wear the same size clothes, even though they're different ages. So that helps too. So I can combine that and say, okay, I have 3 pairs of extras between these 2 kids in case something happens, in case they fall, in case they get food on it, whatnot. So always have extras. So hopefully this video is not so like every which way. It's just a lot that I do to prepare. So to kind of go over everything, binder has everything. Binder has printouts of hotels. Binder has itineraries of what we are doing each day. Binder has budgets. The binder has tickets. If I have bought tickets, I have printed them out and I have put them in the binder with the tabs. I have the list of items that we have, the food, the toiletries, medicine, anything extra I have there. Anything, if we need to make sure we have umbrellas or ponchos or whatever, depending on where you're going. Obviously, this is going to change. When I write everything down, when I have what every child is wearing, I put that in the binder as well. So everything is in that binder, and I keep the binder in the car, and then I bring it in when we go, when we stop. Packing the bags, I try and keep certain suitcases for certain kids, depending on what I can fit in there. But making sure that I have everything written down on a list that I can check off. That is like gold to me, is my binder. Because if I don't have that, then organization is out the window. This is my organization for trips. And you have to, when you have a lot of kids, you have got to be organized with it, because if you don't, it is just a disaster. So in a nutshell, everything printed out in the binder. I typically do that as soon as I start planning. I will write things down. Sometimes I will type things up as we get closer to make it nicer and neater. But everything written down from day one in that binder, then print it out. Make sure that I have all my clothes written, selection of clothes written down to know who's wearing what on what day. Make sure I have them in the corresponding cubes. Previously Ziploc bags with their name and date on them. But the packing cubes do save a lot of time. So I have really liked the packing cubes. Make sure you know the weather when you are going, because that can make a huge difference, especially when you're doing things outdoors and you are going hiking. It makes a huge difference. You're not going to want to hike when it is 30 degrees and raining. Okay, so just keep in mind the weather when you're doing your itinerary, and you can always switch. Obviously, some people might not want to. You can always switch your itinerary if you don't have anything set in stone. So that is kind of my process on how I plan. Sorry again, I hope this was not like all over the place, but this is how I organize. This is how I plan things. And once we get to going on a trip, I will make a video and show you exactly what I do to, in real time to plan and to make sure that I have everything written down and organized. So hopefully this helps. Go ahead and check out my other video, my road trip essentials video, that kind of has some things that we cannot live without when we travel. Don't ask me anything about flying because I have never flown with kids ever. So this is strictly road trip. All right, guys, I will see you guys next time for another video. Thanks for watching.